morning and welcome again with Breakfast with the Deacons. I'm Derek Walcott, Deacon Derek Walcott, and I have today with me a wonderful guest, Michelle Jordan, a young chief.
All of the above.
All of the above. Well, today, Breakfast with Deacons is all about good news. It's all about good news, and today we want to talk with Michelle about the Tollman Foundation. Michelle is a director and founder of the Tollman Foundation, doing lots of fantastic work for quite some years now.
Yes.
You know, and we're going to talk with Michelle about it. But before we start to talk about that main topic today, let's look at some good news. What good news do we have? Well, today is Thursday. We're alive. It's great weather outside. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we started the ARC movement. And the ARC movement, Michelle, is all about performing acts of random kindness.
Oh, yes.
And it was started just about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
When I say that, the idea,
Yes.
about a year and a half ago with His Grace the Archbishop.
Okay.
And he said, let's do something for Christ every day. And then on September the 29th, Rhonda posted on her Facebook page, you know, something that the Pope said. You know, and the Pope said, you know, wouldn't it be nice if at the end of the day you can reflect and see that you've done one charitable deed? And then I just thought, wow, wouldn't that be wonderful? You know, with the Archbishop, the Pope, it just seemed a nice fit. So I talked to a couple young people and older people too. And they said, Uncle Derek, what about the ARC? And then we tossed about some names and some young people came up with the ARC movement, the Act of Random Kindness movement.
Wow.
And so we've had 800 and counting members who've joined the ARC movement. And today, one of the people who joined the ARC movement, they sent me this incredible thing. They said, great, look at what we are doing. And the De Labastines are launching a place for children in the ARC. It's going to be in the Guardian supplement today. And Simon De Labastide is about to launch a brand new NGO dedicated to children. The project called the Children's ARC. So you see, the ARC it was not just, you know, something that we were thinking about. It looks like it's been around and it just fit nicely. And officially it kicks off on October the 19th at an evening event at the Hyatt, coordinated by Brian McFarlane, which will be attended by President Anthony Carmona, a longtime supporter of the De Labastide charitable efforts and patron of the ARC, of the Children's ARC. And it's all about seeking to improve the lives and living condition of our nation's marginalized children. So the ARC movement, definitely sending off some, you ever say some arcs and sparks? Well, sending off some sparks and creating more arcs. So we want to congratulate, you know, these people who are starting the Children's ARC, and that's great news. Some more good news that we've had is
This is wonderful, Derek.
It is really,
The
really
ARC
amazing.
you know, can hold
Yes.
the whole universe, really, remember, in pairs.
Yeah.
So it's the capacity is vast,
Limitless.
Because
once you get couples on the ARC, you
Yeah.
get children of the ARC. And we want to create a
There you
whole
go.
thing of children on the ARC.
beautiful.
You know, so it's really, really beautiful. Today, actually, I'm just sharing with you what we want to do today as the ARC movement. The ARC movement will not buy lunch or dinner, but donate the money to an NGO that feeds the poor. So I just posted on my Facebook page, on the ARC Movement's page, kitchen, here I come. I'm cooking today. And I'm going to donate my money that I would probably buy lunch or dinner to a charitable institution that feeds the poor. Today, my money goes to Living Water Community. We want to encourage everybody who are following the ARC movement. Come, let's just cook today and give that money to the poor. It'll be a wonderful good news. Mish, you want to
Yes.
tell us about the Tollman Foundation?
Well, I'm going to take you not so much up on the ARC aspect, but on the spark.
Great.
Because tomorrow night, this wonderful timing
Yes.
of you inviting me here this morning, is tomorrow night we hold our awards ceremony for Tollman Foundation. So how
Wow.
timely is
So
that?
this is
that
amazing.
that I get to sit here
Yeah.
and say to your audience that's what happens tomorrow evening. And what the awards is awards, they're awards of participation of our students' involvement with Tolman Foundation over the past year. Why I'm talking about Spark, and I'll tell you why it links to that.
Wow.
Is that Tolman Foundation is a foundation for the arts.
Okay.
So many people know that we do some sort of good work, but not really clear as to what Tolman really does.
Right.
So it's we're based entirely in the arts, and it is to cultivate and to help develop a love for, a sense of, a passion for areas of the visual and creative arts.
Wow.
Among young people.
Wow.
So, but we are the spark, what to say, that's where we are. We are at the spark point.
Yeah, yeah.
We are not at the end point.
Yeah, yeah.
We are not,
You light.
we try to ignite that,
Right,
that,
okay.
that love, that passion, that sense of appreciation. Now, out of that, we have produced some young people who this is their thing.
Yeah,
They are going on. They're going on as videographers and photographers, dancers, singers, musicians. But for many, it is the cultivation of an appreciation of the arts, something that also cannot be underestimated.
Do you know that our Pope Emeritus, you know, Pope Benedict, I mean, he was a lover of the arts, and he wrote many wonderful pieces on what art can do. I'm going to pull up one just before we leave.
Right.
But he's a musician.
Yes.
You know, and therefore he loved the arts and promoted the arts.
And I think that also is very much in church history.
Yes.
I mean, among many popes, many saints,
They commissioned wonderful
paintings
and things of art and music.
the link between religious art and religion is inseparable in the Catholic history.
Yeah.
So it's there for you and for the church. But in terms of Tolman Foundation, what happens with this is we target young people between 15 and 25, and primarily young men. We're based in Gonzales in East Port of Spain, which is an area between Belmont and Laventille, for people who may not know where Gonzales is.
I grew up in Gonzales, Hermitage Road, just below St. Martin de Porres Church, so I know where you're talking about.
Right, and our initial relationship there came in our partnership with City, the organization that Father Jason Gordon, when he was parish priest there, the NGO he started, and that Father Clyde Harvey is now the director of the NGO City, and our partnership remains with City. And our studio, our Tolman studio, where photography and videography is taught, is actually located in the City building. So we were not far, we are stones throw from where you were born.
Wow, and you all promote videography and photography.
We do videography and photography at our home-based studio workshops. And then we are partnered with an innumerable number of the very best of arts organizations in Trinidad, where we outsource our students to Holistic Music School, Lilliput Children's Theatre, let me go sequentially, Marinette's Chorale, and I think those are our three main outsourced partners. Oh no, how could I forget? LNYTT, who are our dance partnership. And so we have students singing, dancing, and our role there is to to make the links, and just like parents in a way, to support them, pay the fees, transport them, make sure they go, and then to support them in all their performance platforms. And then we have two areas of integration. We integrate all our students in our own performance workshop.
How's it been, the response? Especially, you know, normally you'd find women flocking to something like that, but you said specifically male.
Okay.
And what are you seeing? I mean, are men excited about this?
If I tell you that tomorrow night for our awards ceremony, we have a presentation. Our awards is done by having a performance presentation, sort of like the Academy Awards on a somewhat smaller scale.
But they'll have good stuff, you know.
We have very good stuff. But we have spark stuff, if
Yeah.
you understand that. And I'll tell you more about that after. But we have 7 students involved in the presentation, I mean, on stage,
Right.
in the performance piece. So our awards has this performance piece and then the presentation of the awards to the participants over the last year. And then we have a new award we're introducing this year, which is the Student's Choice of Outstanding Student. And every year we give a big award to the Tall Man of the Year. So that's the shape of our evening tomorrow.
So you have a Tall Man of the Year. So therefore you choose, it's like an Academy Award. You
Yes.
choose the best performer.
And we have awards, little mini awards that look like the Tall Man Awards. We have the Emmys. We have our. Well, we're an arts organization, so we are oriented to
Do you
stage.
realize good news? You're hearing the best of the good news
Best of the good news.
on Breakfast with Deacons.
Are we going to a break? Or
No,
there's
Michelle,
no break?
no, there's no
Okay.
break with us. We just give them the good news without a break.
So, but to answer your the question, of the 7 or 8 students tomorrow night performing, 7 students, 6 are boys,
Wow.
1 girl,
6 boys,
6
1 girl.
young men, all
Oh,
over the
gosh.
age of 16 and
Yeah.
all under the age probably of 24.
Wow. And you,
And they're dancing.
Uh-huh.
It's a theatrical piece
Yeah.
that has been. Well, we have what we have been very blessed and very fortunate, and also strategic with, is that our students are exposed to the best of the people in the arts.
how do you manage to pull these people?
Well, for us, let me tell you who these people are, and
Yeah.
then I'll tell you how.
Yeah.
Our performance director is Wendell Manwaring.
Wow.
So we are right. We've shot right up to the top.
Wendell, thank you for the Tall Man.
And a tall man himself.
Yes, he is.
A very tall man. Wendell teaches our students at Lilliput Children's Theatre, where they do drama, and he has been part of Tall Man from the inception. In the history of Tall Man, my first project was I went on the ground. Tall Man, the idea and the notion came into being in 2004. But my first on-the-ground, hands-on project was in 2005, because in 2004 I was actually living in Canada for a couple of years, a few years. And then in 2005 when I came back, I went on the ground. I remember telling Jason, I want to go on the ground now and see how I can build this. And I in 2006, I took a group of budding young fellas who were interested in sound engineering and writing music and writing songs and everything. And I brought them down for Wendell to screen them and to give me some idea of how to move and where to go. So I brought them to Three Canals studio, to Cut and Clear, their parent. And Wendell did an audition and he selected one of them as a participant in his show that year. But they've always done, this is Three Canal, they always have a pre-show and an opportunity to have young talent exposed within their show, which really harkens back in our tradition to our tent. Tent life, Calypso tents.
Yes.
If you go to a Calypso tent, there's always younger, newer, often weaker entrance into the tent. And sometimes the shows go up and down because you'll have a stronger performer and then a newer performer, etc. Based on that tradition, that's how Three Canal operated, and that's how one of my early students got introduced, and that was the beginning. So Wendell's been there with us from the inception. One of the reasons why these people, why the Noble Douglases and the Greta Taylors. Noble Douglas, Greta Taylor.
Hi, Noble. Family.
Why these people? For 2 reasons. I had one part of my life when I taught Derek in one of my innumerable incarnations.
You taught?
Taught at St. Joseph's Convent.
Really?
Yes, for a while. So very
we
short
know each
while.
other a long time,
Yes,
you
a
know.
long time.
I was terrible.
You're much
at
younger
that.
than I am. I'm happy to say that. But we
I'll take any age.
but we do go back some years. But when I taught, I remember thinking there was something I thought was amiss in the match of teacher and student, because I often found, and I'm not saying this was St. Joseph's Convent only or per se, but just in my exposure to teaching, that some of the strongest teachers were always paired with the strongest students. And the weaker teachers were often given to the weaker classes. Now, we're just talking academics here. And I always thought that something was wrong with that formula.
Yeah.
Always thought that the stronger academic teachers
Yeah.
and the stronger teachers, the people
Yeah.
who had the capacity and the greater gifted teachers,
Yeah.
belonged with the
Yeah.
more challenged students.
Yeah.
Because very smart, very talented, very gifted kids really often don't need a teacher.
Yeah.
They're pretty much their own teacher
Yeah.
because they're getting it almost
Yes.
on their own.
Yeah.
And when I started Tall Man Foundation, I went with that, my own little concept,
Right.
that because these students are 15 plus,
Yeah.
they are behind the eight ball, as the
Yes,
Americans
yes,
would say,
yeah.
when it comes to exposure to the
Yeah,
arts.
yeah.
These are not students whose parents sent them often to ballet lessons,
Yes.
like my daughter did
Yes.
when she was 3 and
Yeah,
4
your
and 5.
daughter?
Yes, you know her. And then, or my boys went to
Yeah.
piano lessons, etc. Right. So they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So you're already 15 years or 14 years or 12 years lagging behind, so to speak, in terms of your being introduced to these areas. So you need even more
Yes.
of the best.
Yeah, right.
You need even more of the gifted.
Yeah.
You need even more of, and this is where, and fortunately because of my own interest in the arts, my own, being a patron of the arts myself, my own background, I already have these people in my life, either through working with them, working under them, dancing with etc. with Noble and all my other life, other. And so I've just worked among that and networked it so that people, my young people in Tall Man Foundation, our young people, would have this opportunity, and they do.
Great.
And so we now have our own little performance group.
Yes.
And we also have a mentorship program that's run within Tall Man. And that is that what we started seeing, as we all see, is that there, when you teach or when you have anything to do with young people, there is the business of the talent. There's the business of the giftedness. And of course, sometimes
Yes.
we hit on gifted kids
Yeah.
who it was going to happen one way or the other. At 2
Yeah.
or 200.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the time you hit it, you
Yeah.
say, I can't believe.
Yes.
Wow, you know?
Yeah.
But they have the love, they have the internal drive, they have the motivation, they have the passion, they're on board. But then we have a lot of kids who want to participate, have a kind of interest, a kind of curiosity, but need a lot of support.
Yeah.
A lot of support. And what we've often found is young people who come out of communities like the ones we touch in East Port of Spain primarily and beyond, because we have a lot of friends and we move beyond Gonzales in a lot of ways in our recruitment, is that they don't have a lot of support. They're missing sometimes in their own development and sometimes in the structure of their family lives and their extended lives, the kind of support that is required to sustain commitment. So we started our own mentorship program
How's
to
that
try
going?
and develop
Yeah.
the internal processes that
Yeah.
are required to sustain commitment. There've been moments and occasions. The first one we did was called Tall Man Talk. So it was really to encourage the young people, the
Yeah.
youth, to find their own voice.
Okay.
And this has gone through many interpretations and visions, but primarily it's been facilitated by mentors from the YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association.
Yeah.
So the Y people have like rolled out the crux of our program, the frameworks. But now we have students who are veterans. They have been through our program. We do not have an accredited licensed program that we are giving a certificate at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why our awards are for participation.
Yeah.
The idea of Tall Man Foundation is just to create that spark.
Yes.
That's why I want to go back to spark. The spark. What we celebrate is introduction, introducing students and young people to the arts, and then introducing them to the idea of the process or the notion of the process. And then we hand these young people over to people who can develop that process or these processes and take them to some kind of fruition.
But then you've covered the whole circle, which is what I was hoping to hear, is that okay, we generate that SP arc, spark, right?
You're
We
not
do
letting
some-
one woman.
At all. And you
don't miss her.
Not at all. Not for the ark. And then you create that awareness. You do some mentoring. You shape them. You mold them. You introduce them to the best teachers in the art that they're gifted in, and then you take them to the next level.
Or we introduce them so that they are able to make
Right.
that step, and then we support them for as long as we can. And that's what I was saying, that we now have veterans,
Right.
students who we have, for instance, students working as photographers, working as videographers, but they haven't severed their connections. They no longer attend our workshops.
Right.
And we are considering to mentor some of them, so that we have now a veterans male program
Right.
called 1.5 Men. in an effort to sort of
Yeah.
bring these young men one step further.
1.5 men, not what we see on television.
No.
That is the real thing.
So that they can grow even more
Yeah.
in themselves. And that program is mentoring our
Right.
young men, veterans,
Yeah.
for leadership. And we have a program called Women's Edition, which
Right.
is mentoring our women, because of course we have a lot
Yes.
of girls as
Yeah.
well in our program, although we are focused more on young men. Our women, young women into leadership. So it's we don't let go of people,
Yeah.
and we continue to support them. Some of them, of course, don't go on in the arts.
Right.
For them, it was a social
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
It's a bond. It's an extended family.
Yes.
It's all those things. It's a place
Yeah.
of belonging, Derek.
Yeah.
And we think it's a healthy alternative place of belonging.
Oh goodness, could Deacons, maybe the Breakfast with Deacons, maybe have one of your success stories come on and we
With
could talk with
pleasure.
them?
I often encourage, in fact,
Yeah.
funny you should say that, but I was on TV6
Yeah.
earlier this year talking about Tallman for
Mm-hmm.
a fundraiser that a group of people had on our behalf,
Mm-hmm.
Rafi Figuera. And I said that to the anchor. I said, why don't we set up, and to the producer when I was leaving,
Yeah.
I said, why don't you interview some of our students? Why don't you speak to the people who, it's one thing to speak to me.
Yeah.
You know, I found it all, man. I have my passion, etc., etc. And I'm still the director. But it's another thing to speak to the product or the participants.
Hold on. I want you all on Breakfast with Deacons, those who are viewing, I want you all to hear what just happened. Michelle went and you asked the anchor, why don't you?
Yeah.
But here you have the anchor asking Michelle,
yeah.
we would love to have one of your success
Yes,
stories
what I'm
on
saying
board.
is you're one step ahead.
Hey, Breakfast with Deacons, everybody, you heard that. This is better news.
Oh, gosh.
No, we would really love
TV6,
to.
eat your heart out.
Eat your heart out. This is the
Oh,
best
gosh.
morning show on television.
Yeah.
Breakfast
You're
with
going to
Deacons.
dominate morning TV.
We're gonna dominate morning TV.
You're out for the market share.
We're going to get it. There's no, listen, people want to hear good news.
Yeah.
You know, we're bombarded with the other kind of news. I'm not even going to mention the word, you know. And our whole drive is just to promote the good things that are happening in Trinidad, because
Yeah.
there's so many good things happening.
Yeah.
The people don't hear about it.
Yeah.
You know, I went into page 11 in the newspapers looking for good news, and you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I think we have to bring out our own newspapers. You know, it's
That's next.
going to be the good news. No, hold on. The ARC news. That's what it's going to be, the ARC news.
No, but I think it's easier to. There's something in the human condition that somehow allows us to recognize or be attracted to the negative.
Right.
We have to search harder for what is for something that is positive, I guess. That is healthy, that is original, that is indigenous. All these things require more effort.
Yes.
They require more commitment. They require more creativity. They require more imagination.
Yeah.
And so, if our default position somehow seems to be what's fed to us,
Yes.
what's there,
Yeah.
what we don't require a lot of effort for.
That's the important thing you said, you know, what's fed to us, what's out there.
Yeah.
You also said something else.
But what also requires our imagination.
It requires our imagination.
It requires our own imagination. It requires us to be engaged.
Yeah, yeah.
And what at the end of the day it requires our awareness. Because if you're not aware, you just take what's fed to you. But if the higher your level of awareness, I mean, I say higher, I mean, you know, more the more conscious you are, the more you will not allow just what's fed to you.
Yeah.
And you will make a conscious effort to seek out what actually exists. And in many ways, this is our reality. But we don't, we have a distorted idea of reality because we allow it.
The word is we allow it. And not only that too, I think that, you know, you said something there that was really important, and I struggle with that. Why are we fed it? You know, why is it so popular to bombard us, you know, human beings with what is negative, when really and truly we should be always walking in the light, and the light illuminates the darkness and dispels the darkness, you know, but we're always drawn, you know. It's like my daughters, they like to see these macabre shows, you know what I mean, these crazy shows, and I say, but that's disturbing my soul. I don't want to watch these shows, you know.
Yeah, you're not going to sleep.
Definitely.
Far less, yeah.
So tell me, on when is your award ceremony?
Okay, so award ceremony is this year is going to be held at Bohemia.
Bohemia,
Right.
all right. Okay.
Bohemia is a dedicated arts space.
Okay.
It was a gift of Godfrey Seeley to the community.
For those who don't know where Bohemia is,
It
could you
is
tell
on
us?
Murray Street.
All right,
So
okay.
it's right on the corner of Murray and Aria-Peter.
Okay.
So if you're looking at it from the Aria-Peter side, it is sort of behind Jacqueline's Patisserie.
Right.
Yeah. So right at on the right-hand side, and it's an arts dedicated space, and so we are there tomorrow evening, Friday, the 18th of October,
Right.
7 o'clock. It's free. Free to the public.
You mean I can actually come?
Come.
You come.
We will have a pay as you wish box.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you know, you can fill that, you can give a
Okay.
donation if you like, but
Good.
it is free.
Okay.
It's 1 hour long.
Okay.
So
great.
it's not arduous or unreachable.
Yeah.
And then we're inviting people to stay on after and have a little afterline with us, find out more about Tall Man,
Yeah.
talk to our students, network with our committee.
Right. Great. So you've gotten a whole plate full of good news this morning. We talked about the Tall Man Foundation. We talked about ARC. We talked about the ARC, the children's ARC, which is launched by the Delabasties, and you should get that in one of the dailies today. I think they're launching this weekend or something like that. So go on. That's what we're all about. Breakfast with Deacons is about bringing you good news. It's about promoting also everybody to do something good so that we have more good news. Today, I've had the pleasure of Michelle Jordan Ayangchi with us, you know. And by the way, she said something very complimentary to me. She said she's older than I am. I don't think she knows my age. But anyway, it was wonderful to have you, Michelle.
Lovely to be here, Derek.
You know, and please, I really am,
Yes.
I'm extending that invitation.
Yes, and I'll take you up on it.
So please come back. Please
Yeah.
bring one of those young men or young lady that you've mentored and that have gone on and is a success story. You know something? We would love to interview the Tall Man for this year.
The Tall Man for this year. Okay.
Right?
All right. There you go.
I wasn't too sure she knew what I was talking about.
No. Why I hesitated is I almost gave it away.
Good. Nearly gave it away. You nearly heard it on Breakfast with Deacons. You all realize that?
Yes.
The good
Breaking news.
Breaking news. But no, we would love to do that.
That's
you know,
a
when the
lovely
award,
thought.
when it is awarded.
Yes.
When is it, on Saturday?
Tomorrow. Friday.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to thank everybody for viewing Breakfast with Deacons once again. God bless.